Thursday the 30th of July on ITV.
Prepare to dig in for a brand new...
Now, before the latest national and international stories in 15 minutes, the latest ITV news closer to home.
Good evening, I'm Alexandra Hill. The Metropolitan Police is once again facing accusations of racism after complaints officers used a secret forum online to post racist comments about ethnic minorities. The Met is investigating whether serving officers used a private Facebook group to share racist views about the traveller community. Sharon Thomas has more.
Most of us use social media these days to keep in touch and share information and photos. Many sites are members only. The Met is now investigating after it's alleged one such closed group has been used by some of its former and current officers to post racist comments about gypsies and travellers. One comment on the site says they are despicable people. Another says they all depend on crime. Debbie Kennett has been running a charity which represents the gypsy and traveller community right across London for more than 20 years.
This is shocking, but not surprising for us, because we know from the experience of gypsy and traveller community in their dealings with the police that these attitudes, this racist attitude towards the whole community is endemic.
Jim Davis is a serving officer with Thames Valley Police and himself a Romany gypsy.
Police have a huge amount of power, and to have that level of racism attached to that level of power is very, very dangerous.
The Met says concerns were first raised about this website in April with the Directorate of Professional Standards, which investigates complaints against officers. In a statement, the Met says, "We understand this group does include former and serving Met police officers among its members. The information is now being assessed to determine whether any serving officer or staff member may have committed an act of misconduct or criminal offence. Should either be disclosed, they'll be fully investigated." The public are now being urged to come forward and report any concerns about the online behaviour of any of its officers. Sharon Thomas, ITV News.
7 people have been injured after a bus crashed into a bridge in Norwood last night. The roof of the 197 double-decker was completely ripped off in the accident, which happened at the junction of Portland Road and Clifford Hill. 4 of the passengers were taken to hospital with minor injuries. Well, Transport for London say there'll be a full investigation into the incident. A cyber terrorist who was extradited to America has been welcomed back to London by his family. Baba Ahmed was sentenced to 12.5 years after pleading guilty to helping support terrorists group online. He spent 10 years in prison in the UK before being sent to the United States. The 41-year-old's family say he returned in time to celebrate Eid. London Fire Brigade has apologised after tweeting that no hipsters were injured in a fire at a restaurant in Shoreditch. 6 fire engines and 35 firefighters were called to a pop-up restaurant early this morning. Well, people on Twitter complained following the brigade's announcement. No one was injured during the incident, and the fire service later said that it hoped Shoreditch businesses were back on their feet soon. The cause of the fire is being investigated. All right, now let's take a look at the weather with Helen Plint.
Sun's out. Well, that didn't last long. London weekend weather, sponsored by Holland & Barrett, the health specialists.
Hello again, a very good evening to you. Well, no shortage of sunshine this afternoon, but it does battle with a fair amount of cloud come tomorrow. A drizzly, murky start to the week. Will be damp as well, becoming more humid and warm throughout the day. But thereafter, from Tuesday onwards, well, it's a fresher feel to everything. But we return to that picture of sunshine and showers. So let's drill down in a little more detail. And as you can see, this frontal system tracking through tomorrow, that brings with it those murky conditions first thing. But behind it, a fair amount of brightness from Tuesday onwards, as I say, although a little tricky to pin down exactly where and when those showers will affect us. So overnight tonight, quiet for a time, but pretty quickly the clouds packing in there. At least you can see those temperatures will stay rather mild as a result. But that rain reaching all areas come first thing tomorrow morning. So a bit of a grossy, miserable start to the week. You can see those rain patches will be fairly light, but coming and going through the morning. Although by tomorrow afternoon they track off for the most part with a few glimmers of sunshine. It will be warmer but muggy too.
London Weekend Weather, sponsored by Holland & Barrett, the health specialists.
How are you today?
Lloyd's Pharmacy, proud sponsors of the Pollen Count.
So of course that wet weather doing some of us a favour in the form of slightly lower pollen levels tomorrow. But very quickly you can see through Tuesday, Wednesday and well into the latter part of next week they rise back up to high.
Oh, thousands of runners were given the chance to cross one of the world's most iconic finish lines today. A day of running at Queen Elizabeth Olympic Park saw 17,000 people take part in one of 3 different challenges: a 10K, a marathon team relay or a 2.5K family run. Among the participants in the 10K were 6 runners selected by marathon champion Paula Radcliffe to be mentored ahead of the race.
It's been an absolutely incredible experience. Like, I've always looked up to Paula Radcliffe ever since I was really little, so to actually meet her, have tips from her, it's been absolutely amazing. And for me, I've had quite a tough year. I was knocked off my bike in a hit and run, and then I've had meningitis, so I've not been able to run for over a year, and I love running, so now this has been a brilliant race to get back on and into it.
I started not running. This time last year I could not run at all, and I've just been building up really slowly. I started with a 5K park run last September, and then I joined my local club, Petswood Runners, and they've been fantastic. They've been incredibly supportive, and this is race number 15 for me.
So what did the woman who coached them ahead of the big day make of today's event?
For me, we talk about the legacy of 2012. This is the legacy. It's people being inspired to take up sport, whichever sport, finding that they love it, and then having access to the facilities like this for a long time to come to enable them to keep doing that sport on a daily basis.
Well, that's all from the London team for now, but don't forget you can look at what's been happening in the capital on our website, itv.com/London. We are back tomorrow morning with updates during Good Morning Britain. Until then, have a lovely evening. Bye-bye.